Prepare yourselves for a battle of epic proportions between two titans. Feast upon their voices and revel in their words. This is Dueling Ogres.
Hello, Ogres, and welcome to episode 148. Thank you for joining us as always on this Bird Wednesday evening, Earth date March 28th, 2018. I'm your host, Remington Hitchcock, and with me as always is my co-host, Brennan Full. Say hello, Brennan.
Hey, Remington. How's it going?
Oh, fine. Have you heard?
Heard what?
About the word.
The word this week?
Yeah.
Oh, what was it?
Well, I mean, everybody's heard about the word.
Well, I'm not familiar.
Well, bird is the word.
The bird?
Yeah. The bird's the word.
Oh, no, see, I've never heard that before.
Sorry, I have a stutter.
No, just the bird. The bird is the word, and that's it.
Yes.
Family Guy single-handedly made that song come back, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's called, I think the band is the Trashmen, the Trash Guy,
The trash people.
the Trash Person.
Oscar the Grouch.
Yeah, it's Oscar the Grouch that sings that song.
Well, everybody's heard about the bird.
We won't start that again.
Oh, okay.
It's like Frankenstein's lifting something that's a little too heavy for him.
Well,
It's like, whoa, Frankenstein, lift from your knees. Come on.
yeah, I mean, you're going to throw out your back. Those rotting discs can't be all that. I don't know. I lost it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
He's made out of rotting parts.
I think they're preserved parts.
Are they, Brandon? No, because they just got him from a graveyard.
Yeah, but the electricity brought him back to life.
Yeah.
So he's not rotting anymore.
Well, that's true. But the cells have still got to be dead in some places.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Does he bleed?
I don't know. I mean, I suppose he has a circulatory system. Can you imagine sewing the body parts together to make that happen, though?
Like sewing the veins in?
Yeah, like truly, that would be incredibly difficult.
Dr. Frankenstein had a lot of time on his hands.
Apparently.
He did not have a lady in his life.
Nope, just a hunchback.
Oh, yeah, I wonder... Nah, never mind.
No, now I'm curious of where you were going to go with that.
I was going to go with the whole romantic thing with Dr. Frankenstein and Igor, and maybe they did stuff, but...
Well, I mean, obviously you wouldn't even have time for that, so it was an unrequited love for Igor.
So Igor was all about it, but Dr. Frankenstein wasn't?
Yeah, he was like, I don't have time for you, Igor. Sorry, master.
They sound very similar, Igor and Frankenstein.
Yeah.
That could be either one.
Well, yeah, I suppose it could.
If I were to say, hey, Remington, which creature from Dr. Frankenstein's castle am I doing right now?
Igor.
Frankenstein with a cold.
I'm a little stuffed up.
Kleenex.
Kleenex. Nutty pot.
Those things don't really work, Frankenstein.
See, I don't know. There are enough people who swear by them that I think they do.
I just don't want to pour shit up my nose.
No, neither do I. But
Because those are the things that you pour up your nose, right? It goes through your sinuses and comes out the other side?
Yes. And I've known many people who swear by them, but I'd rather not drown myself.
Yeah.
That feels essentially what I'm doing.
I bet it also does feel really cool, though.
Oh, yeah. Now, I guess I've kind of done it with saline solution. Nasal spray, saline solution. There's actually 3 ways that you can use that. You can use it as the spray, and that's holding.
Okay.
Yeah. I know. Very, very good podcast fodder right here.
There's actually 3 ways you can use this saline nose spray.
But you can spray the mist up into your nose.
Okay.
Or you can drip it in, or you can turn it sideways and pour it in, and you can use it kind of as a neti pot by squirting it into your nose.
Sounds awful.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
you
does.
use it way number 3?
I have before.
God, I could use that. I am super stuffed up right now.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, being here.
Yeah.
With your cats. My eyes are itchy. My nose is stuffed up.
Don't touch your face.
I can't help it. I'm rubbing my eye right now.
Don't do it. It's
I'm
a trap.
rubbing it.
It's a trap.
I'm doing it.
You're a dead man.
Yeah, I'm going to die now.
Yeah.
So thank you, listeners, for 148 fantastic episodes. I'm dying now, so this is the last episode I'll ever be on.
Yep. Brandon's dead for all eternity.
Yep. Who would you get as your new podcast partner?
Nobody can replace you, Brandon.
You would just do it yourself?
No.
You should do it yourself, but do my voice too.
Okay.
He's always my co-host, Brandon. Say hello, Brandon. Hello, Brandon.
Yeah, that's what you sound like.
Yeah.
Yeah, spot on impression of
I
yourself.
disagree, Riverton. This is professional banter, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is what they...
That's what they all tune in for.
Yeah. Like, imagine a listener, this is their first episode. They're like, yep, this is the stuff. This is what I was searching iTunes for.
What have I been missing all my life? Welcome to the show, new listener.
Welcome, thank you. Impressions of Frankenstein and Saline solution.
All in one podcast?
Wow. It's like chocolate and peanut butter.
So how have you been?
I've been pretty good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
I've been playing Far Cry 5.
Oh, okay. So how are you enjoying it?
Well, I've only put a couple hours into it so far, but I'm really enjoying it.
And what mode are you playing it on?
What do you mean?
Are easy, medium, hard?
I assume medium. It's whatever
Just normal?
generically starts out the game at.
Okay. See, Smoke, the Twitch streamer Smokealoke, got an advanced copy, and he went to play it on his stream. And number one, he's going hard mode. Number two, he loads up the game, and Ubisoft, in their infinite knowledge, decides that they're going to take complete control of your soundboard. So it resets all of his sound.
Oh.
And he's coming through hot as shit on the mic. Just like really bad.
Yeah.
So hopefully that wasn't too bad. I'll fiddle with it, but whatever. So he had to take a brief reprieve and get that fiddled out before.
So did they do it to keep streamers from streaming it, I guess?
I don't think so. I think that they just don't take that shit into account. Like, sometimes developers will just put controls in to take control of certain things of your computer just because.
Yeah.
And I don't know why they do it, because honestly, there's no reason to. Like, why would you need complete control of the sound drivers?
Yeah.
And then reset them, no less.
I haven't noticed really anything special about the sound in Far Cry.
No.
The graphics are fantastic.
Yeah,
it's
they look really good.
It's the best looking game I've played on the Xbox.
So have you played the other Far Cries?
I haven't played all of them, but I've played 4 and 3.
Okay. So this one seems... I haven't played any of them. Are they all kind of like shock/horror based?
Yeah.
Because this one seems like it's like borderline zombie apocalypse, only it's, overly devout followers of a false god.
Kinda, yeah.
Okay.
Your Far Cry 4, you are in a sovereign nation that's kind of ruled by a guy who has troops, and it's like the resistance versus the troops kind of deal.
Yeah.
Far Cry 3, you're on an island where there's a crazy warlord. So crazy cult leader, there's only so many ways they can get a whole bunch of enemies with guns that are chasing you down,
Right,
so
yeah.
cult leader, crazy leader is really what they can do with it.
I gotcha. Okay.
But yeah, Far Cry has always been a mixture of like kind of horrible stuff happening and straight up comedy.
Yeah, and the first bit that I watched of the stream was pretty funny in regards to kind of your character being left behind. Like in that first initial thing that happens. I don't want to give too much away because the game just came out.
Yeah, well, it's a cult. It's like a doomsday cult. It's a mixture of like Jim Jones and sort of Scientology a little bit.
Yeah.
As I've gone further on, he has...
well, it's more like Waco.
Yeah, it's more like Waco. You start out and you're working with the U.S. Marshals to go and arrest the main dude. Like, this is the opening cinematic scene, is you're going in to arrest the main guy. Did you watch that scene?
Oh, yeah. No, yeah, I watched him through that and the car chase.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It looks great, doesn't it? Like, I don't mean to keep going back to the graphics, but the graphics are just so good on it. Yeah,
it looks pretty good. It looks pretty enjoyable.
I got it running through my Xbox One S, outputting 4K to my 4K TV.
Oh, yeah?
Mwah. I'm kissing my fingers right now for the listeners.
Yeah.
Kissing my fingers like I just had a delicious meatball.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
The Italian is coming out in you, sir.
Yes. Or going into me.
Or, well, whatever, I don't judge.
Italian Frankenstein. Mamma mia. That was stupid.
That was
I'm
stupid.
Sorry.
Don't apologize. Never apologize.
That was dumb. But yeah, I'm enjoying Far Cry 5. I don't have a whole lot to say about it so far. Like I said, I'm only like 2 hours in.
Yeah, I got you.
But that's been my big excitement for the week, is looking forward to it.
So I started streaming last night. I've decided on a stream schedule for my video games, and it's still going to be pretty fast and loose as to whether or not I actually stick to it, I think.
Yeah.
You know, just because life is busy and I have shit to do. But Tuesday and Wednesdays at 11 p.m. Eastern is what I'm shooting for. So last night I started off streaming Inner Space again, and I couldn't get into it. I went to the next realm, as it were. And for those of you who don't know, Inner Space is kind of like a flight sim / exploration thing where you have like full reign to just explore these little caverns, basically.
Yeah.
In different levels, quote unquote levels. And I was trying to get into it, and the guy that was helping me out, the cartographer, he wasn't even in there. I don't know why. So I was really just meandering about aimlessly. I had no goals.
Like just trying to figure out what to do.
Yeah. So yeah. I don't know. I wasn't excited about it. Like when I first started playing it, I was really into that game, and now I'm just like, eh.
Dude, that's me with most of those kind of indie games. They start out real strong, and you're like, yeah, I'm all about the ambience. This is great. And then the more you play them and the less direction they give you, for me anyway, the more it's just like, I just don't care. I need direction. Yeah. I mean, call me a casual, but I need a marker that tells me where to go. Yeah. I need something on screen that says, hey, here's your next objective. Yeah, exactly. So then I went ahead and switched back over to Quantum Conundrum, which was a 3D platformer like we talked about last week. Mm-hmm. And I ended up somehow getting myself turned around and having to replay the first level again. So I don't know how I did it. I realized about 3/4 of the way through that I could have just returned myself to the main section. And I was like, well, fuck it. I'm all the way through now. I might as well see how well I do. Yeah. So I finished that up and then went on to the second section. Ended up finding a weird little room off to the side to explore, but couldn't figure out what to do in it. So me and Mediocre, the guy in the chat that's been helping me out a lot with stream stuff, just promotion and doing all sorts of, like, joining different groups and stuff to help build the stream. Really cool guy. Check out his channel. Mediocre. MEDEOGRE. Plug-in already. Yep. So if you like watching video games, watch him play. Just because. Yeah, do it. He seems cool from the very limited interaction I've had with him. He has terrible puns. Yes. So if you like terrible puns, sign up for that. They're listening to this show, so they like terrible things in general. Yeah, exactly. So add puns to the list. So anyway, he was trying to help me figure out what to do in this particular level. And then I go back. He's like, well, is there anything outside of this room? Go back out. So I went back out, and I ended up, I was just not in the right place. So the before game, Inner Space, I was suffering from not being on rails. And in this game, I was too much on rails that I was exploring and couldn't do the thing that room needed me to do because I didn't have the right stuff. Oh, okay. Yeah. So that's how that happened. So I spent fucking 30 minutes in this room. Oh, seriously? Trying to figure out something that I would never have been able to do because I didn't have the right stuff. Because you just didn't have the right equipment for it? Exactly. So what all do you have so far as your gadgets go? I am now in slowed time. Okay. So I have heavy, I have fluffy, and I'm going through slowed time right now. Okay. So as you progress in this game, you can change the dimension that you're in. And really, instead of changing the full dimension, it's more like it just puts an overlay of things being really light or things being really heavy or slowing time down. And I don't know what the fourth one is going to be, but don't spoil it for me, Brandon. I know you've played through the game. Mm. So you start off getting fluffy where everything is very light, and then it goes on to heavy, and you have different puzzles that you have to solve using these different dimensional shifts. Yeah. So that's how the game works. It's pretty fun. It's like a Portal style game. Yeah. In fact, it's actually made by one of the designers in Portal. Oh, really? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Did we talk about this last week? I don't know. Maybe. It's made by Square Enix. Square Enix is another one of those companies that does very little wrong in my eyes.
Yeah. So, yeah. Other than that, work. We played D&D.
Yeah.
We are just getting ready to get into the meat and potatoes of the quest.
Yeah, we've played 2 full games of D&D now, and we have not left the town yet.
Yeah, we haven't even left the town. It's as bad as shopping.
Yeah, granted, we play in like 2-hour segments.
Yeah.
So we don't really get a whole lot done in that time. But...
Yeah, that's just it. We were so used to playing. Like, even though we haven't played in a while, we would play for 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
And now we're all old and have time constraints, so...
So yeah, we are in the town of Oakhurst, getting ready to leave to go towards the Sunless Citadel.
That's right.
You guys were talking about there's like a magical apple or a magic fruit or something.
Yes.
I feel like I know about the Sunless Citadel because this magic fruit is sparking something in the back of my brain, and I'm trying to just push it down.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I know whatever the secret is about it. Somewhere in the depths of my brain, in the labyrinth of my mind. I've read it before.
Yeah, and I think it's one of the ones that I had looked at and we had maybe talked about because it's a module. It's and we're playing 5th edition, so what they did is they released a book called The Yawning Portal. Is that right?
Yeah.
And it has different modules from past versions of D&D that have been revamped for 5th edition. So this is the first module in the Yawning Portal. It's the Sunless Citadel. It's been around for a long time. I think it actually came out in 2nd edition.
Yeah, it's been around a while.
But it got revamped for 4 3rd edition. And I like that all of that content exists and they just keep breathing new life into it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And I mean, the Sunless Citadel is one of the more famous modules too. It's like Kobolds at Kerr Keep, I think, is another one that's real big.
Yeah.
Or that's real famous. And of course, the Tomb of Darkness or Tomb of Horrors.
Yeah, I was going to say. And it's a massive dungeon.
Oh, is it?
Yes, it's massive. There is a lot to the Sunless Citadel. So be prepared.
Is that going to be hard to DM for you think?
I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, they have a pretty good layout of room to room, what's happening. I think it'll just be a matter of getting the map set up and letting you guys fiddle around on it.
I think we're going to be boned that we don't really have a rogue.
Oh, yeah? You think so?
We don't really have anything anybody can disarm traps.
Well, that's just it. Anybody can disarm traps in 5th edition now.
There's not a skill for it?
No, there's not a skill for it. They cut down that skill tree so much that you're not as hindered by not being able to, quote unquote, do something.
See, I don't know if I like that or not.
Yeah.
It's cool that it's more open, so now we can have a party with no rogue.
Yeah.
And still, we have a 4-member party, and none of us can pick locks, really. I think Eric's halfling can pick locks a little bit, because he took the criminal background.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that's how... See, I kind of like that, because, here's a for instance. If I were to learn how to become a blacksmith, well, that doesn't mean that I don't have or wouldn't have taken the time to maybe learn how to pick locks.
Yeah.
Like, I sell mattresses right now, but I have a lockpick kit and I have practiced picking locks.
Yeah, but then you would have just put skill points into open lock. Just like a D&D character could. But
in the rules, technically speaking, you'd only be able to put half a point in.
Yeah, you have to use 2 points for every 1 point you want to put in.
Exactly. So, and that's supposed to signify the amount of effort that it takes to learn a new skill, but...
Yeah, because you haven't had formal training with it.
Yeah, but that's just it. I mean, you could always find somebody to formally train you in something.
Yeah.
If you wanted to.
But if you were to go out and find a locksmith...
And that doesn't make you a rogue.
Formally train you in picking locks.
Yeah.
Then you would multi-class into rogue if our lives were real life.
But that's just it. I wouldn't.
Because I have somebody who professionally knows how to pick locks and having them teach you how to.
But there's more to being a rogue than just picking locks.
I feel like a locksmith if you become a locksmith, you have 1 rank in rogue.
See, I mean, that doesn't give me the skill to use poisons. That doesn't give me the skill to sneak up behind somebody.
They can disarm traps.
That maybe disarm traps. It depends on the trap.
It sounds like you've got a hate on towards locksmiths.
No, I love locksmiths. I love picking locks.
Some of my best friends are locksmiths.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just, I miss about 5th edition. I'm enjoying 5th edition a lot. I will say that.
Yeah.
From what we've seen of it so far. And I'm already looking forward to hitting 3rd level where I get to pick Battle Master for my fighter.
Yeah.
And there's like a huge list of special abilities I get to pick from.
Right.
It's going to be really cool. But so far I do miss that kind of specialization that you don't have versus older modules.
Right.
Or versus older editions.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely did kind of take the min-maxing bits out of it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I mean, that seemed to be a barrier for a lot of new players because, I mean, it took us a while to build our characters just because we didn't know what the rules were. But, I mean, that versus the procedurality, which I don't think is a word, of 3.5 and going through every section of the book to do, you know. It
was easier to make a 5th edition character for sure than a 3.5.
Yeah. I mean, once you kind of found where all the things were.
Yeah.
Then it was pretty easy to put together, seemed like.
Well, and one of the things I like and dislike both about 5th edition is that your party seems like it can be made up of whatever the hell you want.
Right, yeah.
You could have 4 fighters, but each have 4 different backgrounds, and one of them has a background in criminal.
Yeah.
So they know how to pick locks and they know how to disarm traps and focus on a dex build and sneaking.
Right.
And then you can have another fighter with a focus on sage, so they speak an extra language and blah, 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 blah.
Right, exactly.
And then as you hit 3rd level and you get to choose what your archetype is, you could have one fighter that goes, I can't remember what they're called, Arcane Knight maybe, where you can cast spells. So now you have a spellcaster at 3rd level too.
Yeah.
All from fighters. I like that, but then I also miss the rough and tumble group you get when you play 3.5, where your friends all get together and you're like, okay, we already have a mage, we already have a rogue, we already have a fighter, we need a healer now.
Yeah.
Can you play a healer? Yeah, I'll play a druid, I'll be a healer.
Right.
I miss that you have to have a group well-rounded.
Yeah. I understand that completely.
And nothing's stopping me from doing that.
No, it's and our mentality is pretty locked into, oh, we need this and this for the build of the group. Because that's just it. I mean, in this particular instance, where we talked a couple, 3 episodes back about those sayings, the jack of all trades and stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like this is an instance where the jack of all trades and then not finishing the rest of the quote is a little bit more of a truism. Wherein if you have a party full of fighters, you're not going to be as fully robust as a properly built party.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So where you have specialist people.
So what are your overall feelings towards 5th edition so far?
As a DM, it's very similar. Since I'm not playing, since I haven't built a character, I don't really know what to think from that end.
Okay.
And I mean, all we've done so far really is roleplay.
Yeah.
We haven't done any roles, fighting, that sort of thing. Just the occasional, did you see what I see roll? And not much else past that. So really, for me, we're just still in the realm of same old as far as the construction of the quest goes.
Are the monsters different? Have you seen, because I haven't seen like what a monster stats look like yet.
I haven't really looked either.
Okay.
I will see it when it gets there.
Well, all right then.
Yep.
Prepared as always.
Yep, that's right. I'll fly by the seat of my pants. So yeah, I'm still looking forward though to getting into the next ones.
Yeah, me too. And then eventually taking over as DM. I'm looking forward to that too.
That's good. I'm glad. I see that's one of the reasons why we became burned out is because Brandon and I were the only people who were DMing.
Yeah.
And we couldn't get anybody else to do it. So we were like, okay, well, we're tapped out. So if nobody's going to do it, I guess we're not going to play.
Yeah. I like playing as a character, but I also like DMing. I'm a backseat DM though. Like I don't jump out and say, but especially when there's new players, I'm always up for watching a new player DM, and I'm not going to be a dick, and I'm not going to be like, well, actually. But I just have that mentality when I'm watching a new DM do something wrong,
yeah,
that I want to jump in and correct him and be like, nope, you're railroading. Too much railroading. Cough, cough, cough.
Right.
I don't know why I was adjusting my tie.
Yeah, I don't know.
As
either.
I said that.
Yeah. Just letting the steam out.
Yeah.
Ooh. When did this become Lucy?
Ooh, Ricky.
Lucy, you got some splaining to do.
Fuck you, Ricky.
Well, I think that wraps up our banter for the day.
Our D&D talk.
So,
like I was saying, I could talk D&D all day.
Yeah. So, what kind of stories do you got?
I have a couple different stories. The first one I wanted to touch on is the Toys R Us bankruptcy.
Okay.
What's your opinion on that? Because I don't have, it's not like I'm coming with a bunch of news. Like, I realized I could look up, well, Toys R Us is X amount bankrupt and they owe this much money to this person. But the listeners probably don't care, and I certainly don't care what the specifics of the bankruptcy are.
Right.
It's just the fact that Toys R Us is going bankrupt.
Yeah.
Is your childhood totally destroyed, Remington?
Honestly, I didn't spend a lot of time at Toys R Us as a child. It was
an expensive toy store.
It was. I was more Kaybee myself.
Yeah.
I was a Kaybee kid.
Which is supposed to be coming back, too.
Yeah.
You saw that?
Yeah, I did. So, and it's weird. We're getting into this realm where a storefront is not the primary way to get the things that you want anymore. More and more people every year are moving to online purchases.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And it's becoming too expensive on paper for these businesses to justify having a huge storefront, paying for the overhead for that, paying the employees, doing health insurance, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of the revenue that's wrapped up into that could just be going to shipping. Like website management and shipping. Somebody comes to your website, they buy the thing, you ship it to their house. Bada bing, bada boom.
So you think Toys R Us really lost something by not getting into the online game?
I think partially. I think that they came too little too late. It's kind of like when Radio Shack went bankrupt. I think that they were trying to hold on to something too long. Toys R Us is known for having very large storefronts. That's a lot of money a year to sink into very large toy stores.
Yeah.
And with tons and tons of product in them. So it's, even if they were to have gotten into the online game, they still had all of these storefronts that is just chewing on their revenue.
Yeah.
That I don't think that, and fewer people buying the stuff in the store kind of equates to, that's the same reason like GameStop is on the outs. It's only a matter of time before GameStop goes under.
Yeah, I mean, I know that GameStop is trying a lot more with their ThinkGeek stuff.
Yeah.
And they're going to like half and half ThinkGeek, half GameStop, half games. Pretty much they will all become ThinkGeek stores at some point.
Yeah.
Because people are going digital. But at the same time, you know, I still do physical.
Yeah.
There are people, and we've talked about this before, but there are people who go physical over digital. I'm one of them.
Yeah, and there are. Now, I'm with the streaming and stuff that I've been doing, I'm not going to say that it's not easier for me to just pop in, buy a digital game real quick, and then, or buy a bundle of games at Humble Bundle sponsor, and just download the keys for that. And, you know, a lot of these are older games, but I can get them for cheaper, and I've never played them, so they're new to me.
Yeah, absolutely. And PC, I'm strictly digital on PC.
Yeah. And I don't have an up-to-date console.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've got an Xbox 360. Is that an Xbox One that's in the living room? I don't remember.
I don't know. I think you have a 360 in there. I don't think you have an Xbox One.
Let's check, because I don't remember. So, yeah, it's an Xbox 360. We checked.
Yes.
Yes.
We just had a little break there.
Yep.
360 break check.
Yeah. Second edition 360 break.
Yes.
So, anyway, and I haven't even booted that up, and I don't know how long.
Yeah, it's pretty dusty.
Yeah. It's not even plugged into the HDMI.
I could see why you thought it was an Xbox One, because the dust caked on it so much.
Yeah.
It looked a lot bigger and more square.
Yeah, exactly.
Toys R Us, to me, always seemed like a place for people to go with young kids or collectors.
Yeah.
And in recent years, collectors have just picked Toys R Us dry.
Yeah.
I tried to go there to find some of the Star Wars Black Series figures over the course of the last year or so.
Yeah.
Never could find them. And it was like they weren't stocked up on them. It was always the same product on the shelves.
Yeah.
I'm in a couple different collectors groups on Facebook for the Black Series figures.
Yeah.
And that's one of the complaints, because, you know, it was a big talking point that Toys R Us is going bankrupt. A lot of people care about this.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And that's something that people all around the world were saying, is that Toys R Us just never seemed to rotate their stock. They never seemed to show anything new, and just product would go and die on their shelves.
Yeah. Toys R Us, where Toys go to die. It's a new good slogan.
I had some good times growing up at Toys R Us. My family never went because it was expensive.
Yeah.
And that's Toys R Us's problem, is they were known for being expensive.
But there for a little while, they did like Pokemon tournaments, and you went to quite a few of those.
Yeah, I would ride my bike about a mile to the Toys R Us to go to the Pokemon tournaments.
Yeah.
I don't think I got all 8 badges, but I got close to getting all 8 badges.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I would go on the off chance that my parents would let me skip church and ride my bike up to Toys R Us. I would do that.
Right. I remember coming in every once in a while you were doing it and just thinking, you nerd. And then I'd go buy some Magic cards.
Yeah, well, it kind of killed it that I was maybe 14 at the time.
Yeah.
And the people I'm playing are like 8.
Yeah.
I'm literally playing 8-year-old children to win their Pokemon badges. Like, fuck you, kid.
Push them down.
Hey, your Squirtle's a real piece of shit, huh?
How did you suck so much? You didn't cuss that much when you were 14.
No, I didn't cuss at all.
Oh, that's funny.
But yeah, Kaybee Toys supposedly is going to rise up to try to take their place.
Yeah, but I mean, see, then we'll get right back into the same situation where if, let's say, I mean, I'm all for Kaybee coming back, but they need to be smart about the storefronts that they're getting. They can't rent a giant building and do the same thing.
Yeah.
Of course, Kaybee in the mall was a smaller storefront anyway.
Yeah.
And then they went out.
They were packed, too. I still have dreams about that Kaybee toy store.
Oh, yeah?
Going in there with how thin the aisles were.
Yeah.
And they're not like stress dreams, just walking through and how much shit they had packed into every aisle to try to cram into these tiny spots.
Yeah, exactly. It was always packed to the brim.
Yeah.
With merchandise. Not necessarily with people, but with merchandise.
Mm.
I don't know if we'll actually see one come back here.
I don't know. There is spot for a corporate toy store. I mean, you have Classic Plastics Toy Store, which is in the mall, and that's a secondhand, not totally second, but mostly secondhand toy store run by Tony. But it's not a corporate brand.
Yeah.
So I think corporate brands will come in. We'll see another toy store.
But
we'll see another Kaybee Toys or something.
I don't know, man. I still think, well, yeah, I guess to that end, I mean, Tony would have to really branch out to getting some newer toys that are geared toward. But I think that the toy stores, I think you're in locked with either younger kids' toys, like babies into 3 or 4 or 5-year-olds maybe, and then maybe some stuff for some young teens, like some Barbies or some Ninja Turtles or what have you.
Yeah.
And after that, though, I mean, if you get to 11 years old, it's all digital from that point.
Yeah, they just don't give a shit.
Yeah, even maybe 9. I'm not 100% sure. I don't have kids, so I mean, maybe you can attest to that. How old is your daughter?
She'll be 11 this year.
She'll be 11 this year. How is she with toys versus just moving on to the digital age?
She's on her phone a lot. She would be on her phone as much as I would let her. Yeah. I mean, she sleeps with stuffed animals. She plays with those sometimes, but she doesn't really play with toys so much anymore.
Yeah. So when would you say that kind of started going out of her?
About a year ago, 9 or 10.
Okay. So
I think she just lost the magic and started to have the weight of
when
reality.
When she found out the Santa Claus wasn't real and the Easter Bunny didn't hide eggs to rot in the ground and you didn't. That's not how you played Easter?
No, just put rotten eggs in the ground.
Easter's coming up.
Yeah, it is.
Have you colored any eggs yet?
No, I probably won't either.
You son of a bitch.
I like coloring eggs. I just don't have the stuff to color eggs.
I mean, you can make your own.
But it's out of vinegar and food coloring, right?
Yeah.
Then I'll just buy... If I'm going out to the store to buy vinegar and food coloring, I'll just buy egg coloring kit.
Yeah. But why?
Because it's all in one kit.
And then you take that... What did my mom say? I'll use a Q-tip, and then after you're done, coat it with a little bit of vegetable oil and then wipe it off. And that'll seal the dye in. If you're doing it at home, if you're just using a little vinegar and food coloring. Like if you have that stuff at home.
Okay.
I mean, that's just it. If you don't have vinegar and food coloring at home, then of course you can just buy an egg kit.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people are sitting on food coloring at their house.
I think you're underestimating the amount of people who still actually cook, Brandon.
Yeah, but why would you need food coloring unless you're making cakes and shit?
We have food coloring.
Well, yeah, but you make cakes and shit.
Maybe a lot of people do.
I had for Halloween one year, somebody made black peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and it was the grossest shit, and I refused to eat it when I was in Cub Scouts.
Oh,
It was disgusting.
That's a good story.
Yeah, thank you. They did it with food coloring.
What the fuck were we talking about?
Kaybee toys and Toys R Us.
How did this happen?
Talking about my daughter and
yeah.
Played with toys.
Let's get back on track.
Tony's in the perfect spot with who he sells to, though.
Yeah,
because he has the people our age who go in there and see toys from their youth and go, "Oh my god, I love this Ninja Turtles toy. I love this Spawn toy."
Right.
Now people our age a lot of times have kids. We take our kids in there and buy them those same toys.
Yeah.
Or our kids will see something. I mean, my daughter will still, when we go into toy stores, we'll still find stuff she likes.
Yeah.
She just doesn't play with them as long. And the stuff she wants is more expensive. She wants like the robot dogs and stuff.
Right, yeah. Oh, that was the end of that statement?
Basically, yeah.
Okay.
You looked like you were about to, you were looking at me confusedly.
No, I was trying to fight a cough.
Oh, so. That's why. Whenever you're fighting a cough, you make a face like you're looking at somebody confusedly.
Fair enough. and this kind of leads into a good segue for a story that I found, and it was from the Washington Times, or the Washington Post, I'm sorry, and the title of the article is "Our 9-year-old has an unhealthy obsession with online games. What can we do?" So this is going to be a little bit of a gaming episode, I think, for the first bit, by the way.
Yeah.
So if you're not really interested in gaming, but we're going to be talking a lot about the social aspects. So if you like that sort of thing, I think you will be all right.
Just please don't turn us off.
Just don't ever turn us off forever.
If you turn us off, we digitally die.
We also die in the Matrix.
If we die in the game, we die in real life.
Yes. So a question was sent in, and I'm just going to... The author of the post, Megan Leahy, has a nice long thought, her own thoughts on it, but I think I want to read the question and just get our thoughts on it.
Because this was like a letter to the editor, right?
Yeah, I think so. It's kind of what it feels like. So the question that was written in goes, "Our son, age 9, has been sneaking screen time so he can play an online game that he's obsessed with. He's managed to learn our passwords and override our protections. Yesterday, I was charging my phone, and in 10 minutes while I was upstairs, he installed a game on my phone and deleted an app to make room for it. He has repeatedly lied to us. When caught, he's full of apologies and visibly ashamed. We'll have to up the security ante, and there were consequences for each incident, but I'm more concerned with his ability to control his impulses and help him develop into a trustworthy person. Middle school is just a year and a half away. How can we help him? If it's relevant, he has been diagnosed with attention deficiency and hyperactivity disorder and impulse control issues and was found to be highly gifted." So here we have, there's a lot going on in that.
Yes.
There's a whole lot going on, and it really skirts the line between kind of old school parenting, which is the line that I tend to walk, versus...
Which is beat the shit out of them.
Well, to a certain extent. I mean, not beat the actual shit out of them, but, a firm hand and that sort of thing. Versus the kind of, we've got, kids who are genuinely suffering from, things like Asperger's or attention deficit disorder and all of these things. So what are your thoughts based on what we've read so far?
About what I would do?
Yes. What would you do? What's your take on it? How would you approach the situation?
My very first thought in reading this and then hearing you reread it is I want to know what game that kid's playing. Like how good that game is. Damn.
Right?
He's playing some Roblox or something. That'd be my guess is he's playing Roblox.
Totally. That makes perfect sense.
Clash of Clans. But I lucked out with my daughter in that she's never really been super dishonest with me. I mean, she's been dishonest sometimes in the way that kids will be. Yeah. But she's never been outright like this kid is here. Yeah. So I honestly really don't know what I would do. I mean, you hear these stories though, and it goes back to when we talked about how video games were being classified as an addiction. Right. This kid is facing addiction and withdrawal from a digital game. Yeah. That's an interesting point on it. I mean, he needs to just have the screen time taken away completely. Yeah. He needs to be redirected. That's a good terminology. He needs to be redirected. Yeah. Redirected with a fist. into something that is not screen based, you know. Something that he can enjoy that doesn't involve him staring at a screen. Well,
and then just, straight up no internet or anything until, you don't get a phone. You're 9 years old. You don't get a phone. You know, don't touch them. They're not for you. They're for mommies and daddies. That sort of thing.
Yeah.
There's
so much stuff you have to do with kids online now, though.
That is true. And I remember you said that you had given your daughter an old phone of yours.
Yes.
And that was a year ago, maybe 2.
Mm-hmm.
So
sometime in there, yeah.
Right around the 9-10 age, you gave her a phone that is Wi-Fi only. Right. She couldn't make any calls or anything.
Yeah, she just downloads little games on it. A lot of clicker games, which are mystifying to me, but yeah.
Right.
You know what a clicker game is?
Uh-uh.
You just tap the screen.
Oh, okay.
It's, hey, feed these cats, and the faster you tap, the more food you get. And the more food you get, you can buy other new cats with your food. So it's seriously just watching somebody go tap, 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 tap.
Huh.
Oh, I've tapped as much as I can for 10 minutes. I'll check my other tapper game. Yeah, it's crazy to me. But anyway, I digress. That is crazy. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And going back to the fact that the world now is inundated with screens. We have screens everywhere. It's not like it used to be where everybody would just huddle around the television, or even earlier than that, the radio. There was only one screen in the house.
Yeah.
Now there's dozens of screens, like literally almost dozens. You've got computer screens, usually 2 monitors anymore. I think most people are now rocking 2 monitors.
Mm-hmm.
Most of our generation anyway.
Yeah. My desk doesn't support 2 monitors.
Oh, bummer. Yeah.
I have multiple monitors at my house, empty, not being used, but I don't have enough space on my desk to use a second monitor.
That might be the saddest thing that I've heard today.
Yeah, Patreon time. Patreon time for new desk for Brandon.
We'll put it in the donations tab. We have a wish list in the donations tab. You can buy Brandon a desk. That supports 2 monitors.
That's what I really need.
Yeah.
But you were making the point that there's screens everywhere.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, getting your children away from the screens, I mean, that's almost a moot point. And and the other thing that we come down to is time. Both parents have to work. You can't manage your kid all the time. You finish working and you come home and you have more shit that is tied to work that you have to do.
Yeah.
Especially if you have one of those, $75,000 year jobs.
Mm-hmm.
You're not just doing your work solely at work. You're bringing it home with you so you can finish up whatever project you were doing.
Yeah.
So you can keep on your time clock or on your timeline, that sort of thing.
And screen time is easy. It's an easy way sometimes with kids.
It is. It is. And you're right about that too. It's just so easy to slap your kid in front of a screen, and then you don't have to worry about it, because as long as you look over and they're still staring at that screen, then you know that they're not getting into anything or putting forks into the fucking...
We had very different childhoods, Remington.
Hey, listen, I electrocuted my sister once.
Really?
Yup.
How'd you do that?
Magic.
Were you using one of those electrical kits?
That's all I'm going to say. Just magic.
Just magic. Okay, fair enough.
Yep. But hey, you lived, you learned, you experimented, and that's kind of the other things is I feel like kids don't get hurt enough anymore. Not like abused, but like
they're not falling down, scraping their knees.
Yeah, they're not learning the hard way about why things are the way that they are.
Don't run downhill when it's icy, because you'll slide and hurt yourself.
And maybe dislocate your knee or your shoulder, or break your leg or get it cut off in a
thresher.
Yeah,
and that's why you don't play in a thresher, kids.
That's right. So, but I mean, those hard lessons that we learn in life are. I feel like those hard lessons, those broken limbs, those stoved up extremities are really integral to more than just how you treat yourself in later life, but also how you treat other people. Like, you've experienced the pain of this and that and the other. So having done that, and that continues on to emotional pain as well, like losing this or that or the other, losing your favorite toy. If you lose your game, you just reinstall it. It's all in the cloud. You haven't lost anything.
Yeah.
So you're not learning any lessons about loss. You know, or even earlier on in the video game world, where if we forgot to save our game and then all of a sudden it crashed and we lose fucking 13 hours worth of stuff in Final Fantasy. Yeah.
Nightmare fuel.
Exactly. So, I mean, and that is loss. You know, to our brains at that time, that was a huge loss.
Oh, yeah.
And we learned from that. What did we do after that? We tried to remember to save our game more frequently. Mm-hmm. Now it's fucking auto-saved.
I still obsessively save in Pokemon for that reason.
Yeah.
I lost my Pokemon save when I was around that age. My younger brother erased my game to make one for himself.
Yeah.
Didn't realize you can only have one.
Yeah.
God, I was heartbroken when I came home and found that I'd lost like 8 hours of my life.
Right? And I know that kind of sounds silly from an outsider point of view, but if you put yourself in that mentality, I mean, that is stuff that you've learned from. We learn best from pain and loss, and those lessons that we learn then become empathy in the future.
Yeah.
You know, we can empathize more intimately with people who are going through a loss.
So
going through pain.
What would your suggestion be for this parent if this parent were to ask you? Because I say, when it boils down to it, I say you got to take away screen time, even though you can't completely. You got to take away any time the kid would be using it to play.
Yeah.
At least until he learns that he can't do that. And I don't know, the stuff about going and erasing shit off his mom's phone and installing games, like that speaks to a higher problem than just the kid's addicted to games.
Yeah.
There's something more going on there that kid isn't getting.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think that they need to hit him. I don't think that they need to any sort of punishment or spanking him or anything's going to help, especially with a 9-year-old at that point.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be, I don't know. What would you say?
I am not averse to spankings. I'm not. But it's honestly a case-by-case basis without knowing the child himself. Mm-hmm. You know, there is a fine line that you have to walk, and you have to be an intelligent person to know when it is appropriate to give your kid a pat on the butt, in my opinion. Yeah. Not having kids. Uh-huh. But I have nieces and nephews, and I've never had to straight up get physical with them. Like, I've never had to spank any of them. I've had to grab a couple forcefully and say, listen, you need to stop what you're doing. But I've got that dad voice.
Does that work?
Yes. 9 times out of 10, if I pull out the dad voice, that's all I need to do.
Yeah.
Which is weird because I'm not with them all the time. But as soon as I go, hey, you need to settle down, that's the end of it.
You're scary uncle.
Yes, I am. I'm
You're scary Uncle Wormy.
Yep, exactly. So I'm fortunate in the fact that I have that kind of a voice that I can do that.
Yeah.
But that's it. You know, if I didn't have that powerful, that authoritative voice, I'd have to fall back on something else.
I get it, Rim. You have a good voice. To rub it in.
Oh, it's okay, Brandon. One day you'll grow into a real boy.
One day I'll grow into a real voice. Golly.
Oh, boy. Oh. So, I mean, I don't know, like I said, without knowing the intricacies of the child, I don't know, honestly, what would be the best course of action. Aside from, I fully believe that if you take the time you can get that kid away from all the screens.
Yeah.
You know, you'll have to make some sacrifices. You know,
you might have to put your screens away.
Yeah, you'll have to put your screens away. You'll have to put them in places where he can't reach. And then you'll have to stay away from him. And if you do have to take a phone call or something, or you want to play your own game, and if he wants to watch you, I don't even think that would be okay. I think that if you wanted to play your own game, you'd have to set him out and say, no, you don't get to watch me play this game. You're being punished because you can't. But my big thing for kids has always been explain. Always explain why you're doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's incredibly important. I'm not a big fan of do what I told you because I told you.
Yeah, I agree.
Do what I told you because this is the reason why I'm telling you to do this. In the future, this could happen.
Because do what I told you just because I said so harbors resentment.
Yeah, exactly.
Or fosters resentment, I mean.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think there are certain times where you have to, just because they're too young to hear the information that could possibly happen.
You can't tell a 2-year-old like, well, the reason is because the cops would take you away from me.
Yeah. Or the reason is you'll get your head cut off and you'll die and you'll bleed to death, you know?
Yeah.
Paint as gruesome a picture as possible, yeah.
Literally, you're painting a picture for a 2-year-old.
Yes, that would be a little too much. But for a 2-year-old, for instance, I mean, we're not to that point where the gray is starting to creep in. We've talked about this before. The gray area as we grow older becomes whiter. So when you're really young, it's black and white, good and bad, right and wrong. But as we go, we learn that there is gray. Mm. So, I don't know. Ultimately, I think a firm no screens, don't touch them. If you do, there will be consequences like proper... I will take them all out of the house if I have to. You need to stay away from them. And I will do anything in my power to make sure that you do.
Yeah.
Because
I will find you.
I am the law here, and you have to abide by that. So, and that teaches the respect. You know, knowing that somebody can take everything away from you that you love.
Yeah.
It can foster resentment as well, but as long as you're explaining why you're doing it.
Well, and it sounds like the parent, too, needs to find new ways to engage their kid.
Yeah.
Because being gifted and also having ADHD means that kid needs to be doing something all the time.
Yeah.
And you can find a game that can distract you, and you can play that, and that hits all of those sensories. Or that hits all of the senses that you need it to.
Right.
But he needs to be doing something else, creating, learning an instrument.
Yeah.
Something, drawing, writing.
Yeah, and let him bounce around. Let him try all the things.
Yeah.
But, you know, when you're put in front of a screen, all you're learning is maybe eye-hand coordination. And if you're astute enough to pick on... like, there's a lot that can be said for good games out there, you know, puzzle solving and working those parts of your brain. But ultimately, I feel like there's not enough textile information happening in a video game. So there's something fundamental that we're lacking there.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? Like playing an instrument, that's very tactile. You're learning.
Yeah.
That.
I agree.
Yeah.
Games aren't there yet.
Yeah. So, and I was watching I think it was Destin on Smarter Every Day YouTube. He had gone to a place where they are working on a haptic glove that you can actually feel like hot and cold. They have it's virtual reality, and a dragon flies around the room and lands in your hand, and you can feel the dragon, the footsteps on your fingers, a little mini dragon, and then he blows fire. Oh, he doesn't land on your hand. He lands on the platform above you, but he lands there. But you can feel these putting a ball in your hand and feeling the pressure that emulates feeling a ball in your hand. And the dragon breathes fire over your hand and it heats up. And then he breathes ice immediately after and it cools down.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. It's all proprietary so far. They couldn't actually talk about a lot of the things.
Yeah.
But it was all very interesting. It was all very, very interesting. Check out that video for sure.
So you think that that's where...
I think that's where we'll start to get that haptic, tactile feedback. That I still don't think it'll replace reality, though.
Yeah.
And I think that reality is something that is incredibly important for our growth as we grow as a child into adulthood.
Mm.
And I kind of think that that's part of the reason why... younger generations are, I want to say they're more cerebral. You know, their head, like everybody, all previous generations thinks that younger generations' heads are in the clouds.
Yeah.
But I genuinely think that the younger generation than us, especially, because we were that tail end of being outside and playing and doing other things and not being stuck in front of a screen 24/7. I think we were kind of the tail end of that.
Yeah.
And I think that the younger generations are now more cerebral. You know, most of the stuff that's happening is happening inside of their heads. It's happening in front of a screen, but they're getting this feedback from their brain where they're immersing themselves in these outer worlds. So there's a lot to discuss there. But I think that is one of the reasons why everybody younger than us tends to be more cerebral, And to that end, not fully realizing the scope of the reality of the situations.
Like real life situations?
Yes.
In what way? Like, do you have an example you can think of?
In accepting the differences of other people, I think is a good one.
Okay.
Like, I'm trying to keep it broad because I don't want it to get political, because it skirts right on that, because all of it is anymore. Everything that we fucking talk about is politicized. But marches and movements for supporting this and that and the other.
Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah, but not being willing to accept the fact that some other people just don't think that way.
Yeah, but you can say the same thing about our generation. You can say the same thing about the older generation.
Yeah.
That they don't want to accept that other people can think a different way and not be totally evil.
Yeah.
Or not be totally wrong.
You can, but I think that there is a lot more people who just, a lot more older people who honestly just keep their mouth shut because they know that it's none of their business.
Yeah.
I think that the problem is we are hearing the loudest voices of the farthest sides, and I think that they're still mostly minorities, but that's what gets shoved in our faces because they're the loudest.
Yeah, I mean, if you're talking about like the marches that have been happening recently, we'll keep it as broad as possible. The specific marches, that's not a minority thing. I mean, that's pretty.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about
You're not
the
talking
whole.
About the gun marches. That's what we're talking about.
No. I'm not talking about this. No.
You're talking about in general. I was going to say because the gun marches have been pretty. The voices have been pretty consistent.
Yeah, I'm for guns, but I'm also for more gun control. Absolutely. Okay. But no, specifically, that is not what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about as a whole. Okay. We've seen more movements for more diverse sexualities and all of that stuff. Just all of that stuff.
Oh, I see what you're saying. And somebody who might be in a group for accepting of more sexualities can't comprehend why somebody wouldn't immediately take to calling them or they instead of he or she, just because their worldview is different. And they just assume automatically, potentially, that the person who isn't calling them that is just a hateful bigot, instead of the person being like, I just have never had to call somebody they before. I don't know what I'm doing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that goes back to this more cerebral thing that I'm talking about. Mm. So I think it's all just, it's a bigger exploration of the mind.
I say you need to just get out of the way, Grandpa.
All right. What do you got next? Because this all plays into our video game theme. We can go further into that. We really hit society right now, but
I don't have anything more video game related.
Okay.
Well, I guess I do. They're making a Duke Nukem movie.
You know, they're also making a Rampage movie.
Yeah, the Rampage movie's not out yet, but they've had trailers for it.
Yeah.
Is it out? It's coming out soon.
It's coming out very soon. Yeah. The Rock in the Rampage movie.
Are you familiar with Duke Nukem?
I am familiar with Duke Nukem.
I'm here to kick ass and chew gum.
And I'm all out of gum.
They've announced who they're going to cast as Duke Nukem.
Okay, who's that?
Dun, 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 dun.
Really?
Dun, 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 dun. John Cena.
Wow.
John Cena.
I like it. He's got the charisma. He's got the cheesiness. He's got the jawline.
The game's being done by Platinum Dunes, who did the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah.
There's no script yet, but in an interview with Cinema Blend, producers Andrew Form and Brad Fuller said that John Cena is in the front running to be Duke Nukem.
Oh, and I bet he'd be 100% on board for it.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Apparently the first Duke Nukem game was released in 1991.
Wow. So
Duke Nukem is a 27-year-old franchise.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
I like
Duke Nukem can rent a car.
He can indeed. That's pretty cool. So what do you think about the Rampage movie? I mean, have you seen the trailer for it at all?
Yeah, I've seen the trailer for it.
Did you like it?
I think it looks like fun.
It kind of looks like a more fun Godzilla movie.
Yeah, I mean, even if I saw movies in theaters, it's not a movie that I would go see in theaters.
Right, for sure.
But when it comes out, I'll definitely rent it.
Yeah.
When I can rent it for $5. I will rent it and watch it and probably enjoy it.
So going on, since that was pretty much it, yeah. Video game / movie news. esports have become bigger and bigger in the last few years. And we have recently seen Blizzard take a huge leap into it.
With Overwatch?
With not just Overwatch, but they have been pushing their other games as well. Heroes of the Storm, Hearthstone.
Oh, yeah, Hearthstone's huge. I always forget about that.
Yeah, and StarCraft, of course. StarCraft has been an esport for a long, long time.
Yeah.
Especially over in the Asian countries, but it has started to come more and more into the European and American markets over the past 5-6 years.
Yeah.
I'd say. And now that we have Overwatch and Hearthstone Leagues and Heroes of the Storm, we have all of these. Even the World of Warcraft PvP and dungeon stuff is coming in to the esports realm harder than they had before. It used to be that the World of Warcraft stuff was just almost, I don't want to say that it was a joke because people took it seriously, but it was a very small number of people versus StarCraft.
Yeah.
And they have just, over the past year and a half or so, have exploded onto the esports scene with not just the gameplay, but great prizes, great sponsors, fantastic coverage. Like, you can watch all of the VODs, and it's just full matches and stuff on things that you want to watch and skip around and all sorts of things. So you have all of this esports that you can watch. And it stands to reason that there's money to be made from esports.
Oh, for sure.
And more people, especially as the younger generations come into their own, more and more people are watching online gaming. Good, for instance, ever since I got into Twitch, I'm watching more and more Twitch streamers.
Yeah. Not
even just to learn what they're doing that's different than me, but also just because I'm enjoying what they're doing.
Yeah.
And part of it is to support them because I'm in the same realm as them. So I think that it's important to support each other, but also just so I can have something to enjoy. I am so behind on my YouTube stuff.
You just don't watch it?
That I don't even watch it anymore. So there are about 2.2 billion active gamers in the world, and about 1 billion of them spend money on consoles, games, digital subscriptions, and in-game and in-app purchases.
So more people are just freemium or free-to-play players then?
Yes.
That's crazy.
That means roughly 30% of the whole world's population, though, plays video games.
Wow.
Yeah. So there was a market intelligence firm, Newzoo, who had released a 2017 Global Games Market Report. And that's where this information is coming from. They've reported that esports have an estimated growth to $115.8 billion in 2018.
Jesus.
Whereas it estimates the global esports economy will reach $905.6 million in 2018, a 38% year-over-year increase. So this is all...
So almost $1 billion.
Yeah, so this is all marketing and advertising and sponsorships and media rights and publisher fees and tickets and merch. So this includes the whole gamut of things. Yeah. But still, it's a growing and thriving market. And more people, even to little guys like me, there are no shortage of people to watch you play video games. It seems like.
Yeah.
Even though I'm only averaging maybe 3 viewers in my stream, the market, and that's the other thing, the market is saturated, but if you put on a good enough show, or you find your niche, there will be people to come out and watch you.
Yeah.
And that's fascinating to me, that celebrity, for all of its good and ills, is within anybody's grasp, as long as you find the niche that works the best for you.
Yeah, and I mean, it's been like that with YouTube for a long time, but Twitch is really where it's going.
Yeah, and there are a lot of reasons why that's happening, but I feel like mostly it's the community. I mean, you get instant access to people who are streaming live on Twitch.
Yeah.
And they can instantly respond to you and treat you like their best friend.
I love going into Twitch streams and talking to the streamer, especially when they have little to no viewers.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah, it is. And it helps them too. That's one of the things that, like, Twitch acknowledges lurkers, quote unquote lurkers. Mm-hmm. And that's people who come in and they put your stream on and then they are listening or watching because they enjoy you, but they don't really talk.
Yeah.
That is a lurker. So while as a streamer, you need to be supportive of people who are just going to come in and lurk, at the same time, that interaction, not only is it fun for you as a watcher, but it's also pretty important to the streamer, I have come to find out.
To know that there are people watching you?
Not just to know, but to interact with them. Because that helps them talk more. That helps them interact more. That helps them to be more lively. If they know that you're there in the fact that you're interacting with them, it's almost not enough to just have somebody watching you in the background. Because if there's nobody talking to you, I notice this, especially as I get more tired when I'm streaming. If there's nobody in there talking to me, I just zone out.
You just zone out?
I just zone out
as you play?
Yeah, and I play the game, and then my mouth will start to drop open because I'm a mouth breather. So you can see as the stream goes on, my jaw keeps getting a little lower.
Mouth agape, tired eyes.
Yeah. So, while lurking is a thing that happens, I would always encourage you to interact with a streamer if you are going to watch them. Mm-hmm. Because it helps them feel better, too, about what they're doing.
Man, you are all about streaming. We've turned this conversation back into streaming again.
We have.
And I'm not saying that in a bad way. It's just, it's fun to watch you really get into something.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. I do get into something, and it's just, that's what I tend to talk about. But there are a lot of parallels between what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
Because esports is not just the Blizzard stuff that's come in, but we see things like Fortnite or PUBG, and in fact, Fortnite seems to be...
Fortnite's fucking blowing.
It is. I was
crazy.
just getting ready to say that. It is all over the place. And that is, I mean, shit, half of the people that I've been talking about are playing Fortnite.
Because that's where the views are.
Yeah. And...
Are you going to download and try Fortnite?
No, probably not.
I think you would hate it.
I think I would enjoy playing it. I don't know if I'd care to stream it, but I like shooters. I was a huge Halo buff. I enjoyed Halo. Yeah. I enjoyed Halo multiplayer. I'd stream Halo multiplayer. Griffball for the win.
And that would be cool to get a capture card and hook it up to the 360.
Yeah.
And stream some old school Halo.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd do that with you.
Yeah,
How
that
much
would
are
be
capture
fun.
cards? Like $150?
Yeah, maybe.
It's not bad.
Yeah. But yeah, going back to the esports thing, Fortnite is one of those things where you could create teams and have an esport about it.
Yeah.
And have these high players and then you see the players who are streaming, but say they're not pro level. Well, they're watching this, trying to learn and make themselves better. So yeah. It feeds into not only just the enjoyment of watching people play, but you're also learning new strategies and you're trying to emulate successful engagements with your enemy. Uh-huh. So there's a lot to learn there as well as watching for enjoyment. So to that end, we see the profitability of esports come up even more because now we see the spin-offs where the secondary, the tertiary people who maybe aren't pro, but they're still going in and there's money to be made off of them as well.
Yeah.
Or seeing these people struggle up a esports ladder as well. I think that it's just interesting that this is where entertainment is going.
Oh yeah. It does go more towards like Thunderdome style.
Yeah.
Maybe not in real life. You're not actually seeing people beat each other and shoot each other with shotguns and stuff.
Right.
Yet. Although once stuff gets VR, who knows? It'll be crazy.
Yeah.
It's going to be fucking crazy.
And then
maybe
you have,
not in our lifetime, but...
And then you have like haptic vests that emulate you being...
And they just explode with blood, or they really explode when you get shot.
Yeah.
So you literally could, when you die in the game, you die in real life.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it. But no, yeah, that's where the entertainment goes as you're watching, especially with Fortnite, these battle royale games where you have 100 people all fighting and you have one winner.
Yeah.
Fortnite and PUBG.
Yeah. I don't know. And you have teams, or you have duos and whatever. That's what they're calling it. I don't really fully understand but you party up with somebody to do the things.
Yeah.
And you can have a full party to do it as well.
Teams of 2 or
yeah.
teams of 4,
I think. Yeah. Jinx.
You son of a...
Pinch poke, you owe me a Coke.
Fuck, stick, you owe me some dick.
Wow.
Cut that out.
Nope.
Leave that out.
It's perfect.
My brain just...
That was fantastic and beautiful. I loved it. As soon as we're done...
That was just cussing for cussing's sake.
As soon as we're done here, baby.
Yeah. That was just being dirty to be dirty.
I liked it. The new shirt idea.
Fuck, stick, you owe me some dick.
Yes.
Dueling Ogres in that same big font.
Yeah. That's not going to be a shirt. Sorry to disappoint you guys.
Sorry, Steven.
Yeah. But that leads me on to my next point. Not the fuck stick, you owe me a dick, but esports in general.
Yeah, the other discussion.
Yeah. Blizzard, who we talked largely about, Twitch, who we've talked about, and Riot have all kind of gone in to form this, and not just the three of them. There are multiple other companies that are getting in on this to help combat toxic play environments.
Mm-hmm.
And
which is good luck with that. I mean,
well, that's just it. There was, I think it was, don't quote me on this, but I think it was maybe an Overwatch player or possibly a Heroes of the Storm player who straight up got dropped just because of his borderline toxic attitude.
Well, was he just shitty?
He was just kind of shitty, yes.
Okay. And
he'd come up the ranks, and I think he was surprised that he got in to where he was. I think that's what had happened. He was playing with the idea that he didn't think he was actually going to get signed.
Okay.
But he was good enough that they went ahead and signed him. And he's kind, from what I have understood, I've never watched him. I don't remember his name even. But this is just third-party information that I've got from listening to other BattleNet podcasts.
Yeah.
BattleNet News, if you want to check it out. If you want to hear about all the esports.
I certainly don't.
For Blizzard. But no, there might be people out there who do.
Yeah, I know. I was just saying me in particular.
Yeah, you don't. But he got completely dropped, unsigned, and you can't participate anymore because he got put on a soft ban for his conduct. And then they finally brought him back, and I think it might have been maybe 2 weeks later he was banned again just because he couldn't watch his mouth.
Like he was just trash talking other players?
I don't remember specifically, but I think so. I think it was a little bit of trash talking, and maybe it was a little more candid than you might do if you're in that position. And that's one of the things about the esports is that if you get signed on and you are not just representing yourself, you are now representing not only your team, but all of your sponsors as well.
Yeah.
And just like somebody in real sports, you have to watch your ass. But the difference between real sports and esports is real sports have been established for a long time. So you kind of have this leeway almost.
Yeah.
You know, you have the people who can fight dogs and they're still playing for some reason. That sort of thing.
Meanwhile, in esports, you're a little mean to somebody. And
they drop you like a bad habit. But that's just it. Because it's so new, they have... And I like the way that they're doing this. I do. It's okay to be a little trash talky, but if you start getting nasty about it, you're just gone.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's the best way to approach what essentially boils down to online bullying.
Yeah, and that goes back to what you were talking about with this team of different publishers are trying to fight it.
Yes. So that takes us back to the story where they have formed what they call the Fair Play Alliance. It's a coalition made up of over 30 different companies, including Riot, Blizzard, Twitch, CCP, and Epic, that aim to share research and lessons learned around gaming communities in the hopes of cutting down on what they deemed disruptive behavior. So this is from a Kotaku article. It goes on to say, the goal, Riot's senior technical designer Kimberly Vole told Kotaku, is to create a consistent set of behavior standards between companies and a common understanding of the underlying issues that cause poor behavior in online communities. The hope is that developers won't have to start from square one anymore when creating online games. So the goal is to, as new games come out, as as old games continue to be freshened up with new systems, and that they integrate fail-safes to keep disruptive behavior to a minimum.
Yeah.
So we're talking not just the community policing itself, but actual physical, technical answers, better reporting systems, more accurate reporting systems, being able to log, I would assume, being able to log, conversations, both vocal and typed, to fall back on and say, hey, this is the reason why you're getting banned for whatever you were doing.
I hope so. I mean, there's a lot of toxic. The gaming community, I wouldn't call it toxic as a whole.
Yeah.
But there is a huge amount of toxicity in the gaming community.
Yeah. And League of Legends is one that people tend to fall back on with being one of the most toxic.
Yeah.
Where just people will call you the worst names in chat when you don't do good.
Yeah. From what I've heard, Overwatch is kind of similar if you play somebody's character. If you I'm typically Mei, but you're playing Mei, so we can't have two Meis on our team if we want to win, so I'm just going to shit talk you the whole game.
Yeah.
My own teammate.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't played Overwatch myself more than just a few games because, again, my PC is old.
Yeah.
It's still old. It's still old and parts are so expensive. But it's a game that I really want to play. And I know that I'm not going to be good at it. I know I'm not. My eye-hand coordination isn't what it used to be.
So you're going to just be cursing the skies as you play it.
Yeah. Just because I was okay at Halo, and okay is, a relative term, I know for a fact that I'm going to get in there and all of my muscle memory is going to be terrible. I'm not going to be able to get a reticle on anything. So,
yeah. Overwatch, from what I've seen, is very twitchy.
Yeah. But I've enjoyed playing the few games that I have, and I want to get into it regardless of how much shit talk people are going to do for me.
Yeah.
Or the fact that I don't know how to play my character.
Turn chat off.
Yeah.
There you go.
Exactly. Well, it doesn't bother me anyway. I'm zen as fuck.
I don't know. I feel like if you had a 12-year-old shit talking you constantly, it would get to you. It would get to anybody.
I don't know, man. I can usually tune that shit out. What I can't tune out is playing a puzzle game like Quantum Conundrum and not being able to figure out a puzzle. That shit, oh my god, if you watch that tail end of it, I get real frustrated.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's
what
pretty
are you
good.
Doing?
I can't get through that. I can't figure out what I need to do next. So,
yeah.
Gets me. Makes me feel dumb, and I hate feeling dumb. So yeah, I mean that's my video game talk. I think that it'll be interesting to follow up every once in a while on what is being implemented, and this what amounts to a cross-company movement to better the gaming community as a whole.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
protect
I think we
it.
should keep up on this and see what they're trying to implement, because I find it interesting. I know that I didn't do a whole lot of talking in this last segment here.
Yeah.
More so because I don't know a whole lot about this stuff.
Right.
But yeah, I agree that, like I said, the gaming community is rather toxic, or can be, and any steps they can take towards it within reason. I also don't want to see them policing the shit out of it.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of, take your medicine when you go into playing online games too.
Yeah.
Trash talk is going to happen.
Oh yeah, I agree. I mean, you cannot protect everybody from it. But, I think that there has to be stuff in place to force people to say, well, maybe I should not be such a fucking dickhead.
Yeah. And it is going to be nice to see people rise up through the ranks and get signed and then suddenly lose it because they were total assholes.
Yeah.
People that think that they're untouchable. God, it's going to be like a sweet fruit, just juices dripping down my face to see that.
So do you have one more story for us to go out on?
I do. This is a small story, but it's something I found very exciting.
Okay.
The entire Monty Python catalog is coming to Netflix.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was all bought by Netflix. So all of the Monty Python movies, all of
Monty Python's Flying Circus.
All of Monty Python's Flying Circus, and they are trying to get a new Monty Python special with the surviving members of Monty Python done also.
I don't know if John Cleese will be on for that, but
I mean, Netflix is just throwing money at things.
Oh yeah,
John Cleese, I feel like, would like a paycheck. I'm not saying that's not anything disparaging John Cleese, God forbid.
Oh, John still gets plenty of work.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying John Cleese likes money.
Yeah, I suppose that's true.
But yeah, it is April 15th in Canada and the UK.
Okay.
And then sometime in 2018 for American Netflix. They haven't said when yet, though.
Bastards!
Yeah, I know.
Get on it, Netflix.
So Canadians are getting it here soon, and the UK.
Bunch of hosers.
I'm guessing it's something to do with BBC.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. You're probably right.
That's exciting. I'm looking forward to seeing.
Isn't Canada still a Commonwealth?
I think so. I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't keep up with my Canadian news that much.
They're all too nice anyway.
Yeah, fuck them. With kindness.
With kindness.
Fuck them with kindness.
We love them.
I don't think I've ever met... No, I have met a Canadian.
And their maple syrup.
Yeah, I mean, we grow maple trees here too, so...
So if you have any questions or comments or you'd like to hear yourself on air, you can call us at 978-DU-OGRES. That's 978-386-4737. You can text us, too. We get texts to that number. I mean,
if you have questions, you can text us that.
Yeah, just don't send nudes.
Because we can't get them?
Because we can't get them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mostly because of that.
You can just send nudes through our Discord.
No, don't. Yeah, don't do that.
Don't do that either.
You'll get banned. You'll definitely get banned. But you can DM them to me. I'll rate your penis. I don't care.
I'll give it a 6.
I'll give it a 6 out of 10. It's okay, but I don't like the heft. That got weird fast.
Yeah,
you can join us on our Discord and enjoy fantastic chat like that.
Yeah, not like that. The chat's a lot better than that.
Yeah, usually, generally speaking. Brandon just opened up a channel for anybody who wants to talk politics, too.
Yep, we keep it specifically to this channel.
Yes, it does not bleed over into the other channels because that pisses Rem off.
Yeah. That's why I created that channel.
Yeah.
I was like, we'll just create this for politics talk.
Exactly. And so, I mean, if you ever wanted to actually get into some political talk with Brandon, he would love to have somebody to chit-chat with and bounce ideas off of. It's open to anybody who is conservative or liberal.
Yeah.
It's just keep it, nice.
Yeah, just don't be a dick. That's really the one rule.
That's the one rule of any of my chats is don't be a dick.
And no prequel memes.
For that channel.
I'm setting that in. No prequel memes for the politics one.
Yeah, there you go.
I would prefer no prequel memes at all, but...
We can't control Bucky.
Yeah, I have to be reasonable. So yeah, how do they find the Discord chat, Remington?
You can go to our website.
He asked leadingly.
You can go to our website, duelingogres.com, and on the sidebar... down further past the fold is a Discord link. You can click right on it and it'll take you to it. You can get it in browser. You can download an app. You can get it on your phone. You can be in touch with us at all times.
Yeah, I check it multiple times a day and interact. It's a lot of fun. Remington does too.
Yeah, we're both there all the time. You can also email us at duelingogres.com or leave your email on the webpage to get subscription notices. And you can find us on Facebook and leave a comment there and all of our other socials like these nice people. Brandon, go.
The comments we have are one comment from Viscount Terry W. Irvin II this week. That's all we've had so far.
Okay.
He says, I remember as a kid my dad telling me that swordfish females change to males. I thought he was kidding, but it happened with one of our fish. It seems, however, that it's a little more complicated than that. Here's a nice research paper discussing the phenomenon in detail. Okay, even for me who had an interest, it was very dry and difficult to get through. Agreed.
Yeah.
He said, I'm for keeping the science news as a certified life science teacher and science fiction author, go figure, but if half the team is not really that interested, maybe search and transition to something else. And then he posted a picture of the swordfish, typical male and female, Xiphophorus hilary heckle. Male has the long sword extending from his tail.
Yeah, he does.
Winkety wink.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
And that was, of course, in reference to the science news.
Yeah. We also got an email from Lori who actually had a question for us. She wants to know, how do you feel about Amazon being awarded a patent that will allow for their delivery drones to recognize human movement and voice? Is there a scarier aspect to the issue that this may hasten the demise of our time-honored flipping the bird, much like the assault upon the almost cryptic old-timer communications mode called cursive handwriting? She also said, love the podcast and have more questions for you two every day. So thank you very much, Lori, or Lorraine, that's her full name. She was a very fun person to meet, too.
Yeah.
She was a lot of fun to meet. She bought a mattress off of me. And I told her about the podcast.
So I love that
we talked for like
mattress.
We talked for like 4 hours.
Seriously?
Yeah, three hours maybe. Not just about mattresses, but just about everything in general. She was a lot of fun to talk to.
So how often do you bring up the podcast to people just out when you're out?
Only people who might seem interested. It randomly comes up in conversation. So if it does, then I give them a business card. I have both business cards on me at all times.
I need to start carrying some with me.
You do. You never know when it's going to come up.
Yeah. And it has come up before that I'm not carrying one.
So to address her question, what do you think about, I mean, I didn't see this. Drones, Amazon drones being able to recognize
facial features and voices.
Human movement and voices.
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure the technology is already there for autonomous drones to do that through the military.
Yeah.
So, which is interesting that Amazon can get this patent because, I mean, the military has to have this already.
Yeah.
If Amazon's getting it, like the military technology, what do they say is always like 5 to 10 years above what we have?
Something like that, yeah. And no, I agree. I mean, so what does that say? The real question isn't what Amazon is going to do to it or do with it, but what our government is already doing with it.
Oh, they're spying for sure.
Well, I mean, I think that's a given. We've talked about that pretty ad nauseum as well.
I think it's scary what Amazon is doing, but I also feel like Amazon is this juggernaut that just continues to pick up more and more steam.
Yeah.
And at this point, even if we didn't want it to, there's not a whole lot we can do to stop it anymore.
Right.
It's barreling towards us, and it's eventually going to stomp us all into the mud and keep going.
Well, I mean, I guess if that's what happens, then they won't have anybody to sell their shit to anymore. So, yeah, Amazon, just as a monetary look into Amazon, their stock price currently is $1,400 for one stock.
Wow.
Yeah. Google is coming in at $1,005. So Amazon is beating Google
in stock prices.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Netflix is at $285, and they keep going up. I have a little app called Stock Trainer, and I just wanted to see what it gives you. It basically gives you fake money to buy stocks with.
Oh, okay.
So it's almost a game in and of itself. But I bought stock in Nintendo, Pixelworks, Activision, Blizzard, Take-Two, Interactive.
So putting a lot of money in gaming companies.
Yeah, just doing what I would know. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Netflix, AMD, EA, Google, and Amazon. And as far as it goes, if I were to have purchased stocks then with real money, I would have made like $6,000 if I were to have sell them all. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So
not bad.
Not too shabby.
How much money did you have to have initially, though?
Oh, quite a bit. But like Nintendo stocks, when I first bought, say, Nintendo stocks, I bought it at $31.90 a share. Mm-hmm. It's now at $54.41.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I bought 50 of them. So I've made $1,000 or $1,100 off of Nintendo. But I don't know. It's a really neat app. If you've ever thought about going into stocks or buying stocks, I know that's kind of the quote unquote adult thing to do. I've said quote unquote a lot.
Quote unquote. I haven't noticed if you have.
I have. I've said it 4 or 5 times now.
So drinking game.
Yeah.
End of the podcast drinking game.
There you go. Go back and listen to it.
Quote unquote.
Yep.
Take a shot.
But I know it seems like an adult thing to talk about stocks, but it's an interesting little game in and of itself.
Yeah, it's called Stock Trainer.
Yeah.
I might have to check that out because that sounds fun. Yeah. I've always liked the idea of buying and selling stocks. Much more than actually doing it.
Yeah, I don't check it out very often anymore, just randomly every once in a while when I'm like, oh yeah, I have this thing.
Yeah.
And I like to see where things have gone. But still, AMD goes really back and forth. Right now, it's Intel land when it comes to processors and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's mainly what you look at when you're looking at the stocks is you look at the processors for the different companies. And Intel is leading the way, I feel like.
Oh, okay.
AMD had some stuff that looks promising on the horizon. And here's the neat thing about that is you click on the stock and it has news stories down below.
Oh, that is cool.
So you can actually see what things are coming, or if some CEO, got caught with 50 hookers, what kind of an impact that might have on it. So it's more than just I buy these stocks, I see how they do. You can actually research these companies and see what's going on with them.
That is neat.
Yeah. So Stock Trainer, if you want to check that out, it's available on the Google Play Store. I don't know if it's on iPhones, so I'm sure there's something similar you can find.
Probably, yeah.
Yep. So that's it.
Yep, that's all the comments we have.
All right.
So that's it then.
Like I said before, make sure to subscribe to the website. Drop your email in the little pop-up box that'll happen as soon as you move your mouse away from it. For new shows and articles pertaining to some of your favorite geek news. I feel like a master planner when that goes off.
Yeah.
But it annoys the shit out of me every time I try to get off of our site.
Yeah, me too. That's why I hate it so much.
Yeah, me too. But it's so good.
Is it?
No. It is, but it isn't. People just click off of it. It's whatever.
Yeah.
But don't. You can get a monthly email.
Is it monthly?
It's only monthly.
Okay, that's not bad.
So you don't. It's not like I'm spamming your shit. It's just monthly. You get an update on all of the stuff that we put out, like new shows and articles pertaining to some of your favorite geek news.
We should have some new stuff coming out here soon.
Yeah.
Some new articles coming up.
Yeah, we're hoping so. I need to get on Bucky to see how he's doing with his stuff. Of course, he's got bigger fish to fry at the moment, I think.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. And finally, be sure to leave us a 5-star review on iTunes or find us on YouTube and subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications. iHeartRadio or nearly anywhere else you can find a podcast. And make sure to come and check me out on Twitch.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Come interact with them.
And if you want to support the show, there's always the donation button that's around on the website as well.
Yeah.
If you just want to do that.
Toss us some cash. Just empty your pockets into our waiting mouths.
If all 5 of you listening would give us $1, we'd have $5.
Or give us $1,000, we'd have 5,000. Let's just turn this into math class.
Okay.
If all 5 of you, if one of you gave us $1, and then each person after that gave us double what the person before gave, how much money would we have? Don't say the answer, Remington.
Okay. Well, there's an X that we can't solve for, though. We don't know how many people were actually listening or how many people donated beforehand.
Solve for X.
Yes.
And whatever the answer is, give us X amount of dollars.
Yes, do that.
First person to do that gets their name announced.
There you go. For sure. Or if you want to feed Brandon's love of what are the
desks?
No, the desks. No, the desk won't be on there, but the Black series.
Oh yeah, the Black series.
Yeah,
figures.
there's a wish list over on that donation page. You can just buy him one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah. I listed a couple just so he had some stuff up. My computer part's on there, but I don't think anybody's going to pay for those.
No, I don't think anybody's going to pay for anything.
No, it's true, but
well, we'll do a Patreon eventually. We've talked about it.
We got to come up with stuff for it.
Yeah,
we actually have to sit down and come up with stuff for these things.
What are you gonna do?
I don't know. So until next week, Ogres, keep your clubs blunt
and your tusks sharp.
Good night. Oh, we were so on.
I know, that was in sync.
I just drowned you out.
If you want to be my lover.
You gotta get with my
friends. And why did I sing in Spice Girls?
I have no idea.
Oh, you finally sneeze.
How can you hold a sneeze? That doesn't exist for me. I can't hold a sneeze.
Like that.
Forget about it. Forget about
Forget about it.
Forget about it. Pasta visual.
Let's see if I have any new podcasts to listen to before I go. I do.
Yay, new podcast.
The new Kapow.
New Kapow, the pop culture. Shit, fuck. I will never be able to get that out
Kapow, the pop cultured podcast.
Kapow, the pop cultured podcast.
That needs to be whenever we're practicing before we record. Kapow, the pop cultured podcast.
Kapow,
the pop cultured
Kapow,
podcast.
the pop cultured podcast.
If this is in the outtakes, go listen to Kapow, the pop cultured podcast.
Even though there are enemies.
Even though there are mortal enemies, it's actually pretty good.
Yeah. They got a new mixing board.
Is it fair to say not as good as us?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, there are enemies, so we're allowed to say that.
But they are pretty good.
Yeah. And good guys, too.
Well.
I
have 10 new episodes of podcast to download.
Oh, my glob.
You know, nobody's ever written in and asked me what podcast I listen to.
Maybe they should.
I know. I'm not going to say it.
Nope.
Somebody has to ask me.
You got to ask if you want to know what Brandon listens to.
All of the podcasts I listen to.
That's right. He'll release.
There's like 10 or 12 of them.
He'll release his own article giving a brief synopsis and how he feels and why he listens to them.
Of each one, really?
Yes, I just give you homework. So if you do that, he has to do that.
That's fair.
Okay, so you heard it here first. He will do it.
I will write an article giving a brief synopsis on each podcast and how I feel and why I listen.
Okay.
If somebody asks me what podcast I listen to.
Yes.
In an official capacity, they have to ask me.
That's right.
Not on Discord.
Nope.
Through our Facebook page.
Yes.
Through the website.
Yes.
Through a call. You have to call.
Okay. Okay, so there it is. You have to call in and ask Brandon what podcasts he listens to in order to get this article.
What is it, 978 DU-OGRES?
978 DU-OGRES. 978-386-4737. Call and leave a message.
Yes. If you do a funny voice, that would work too.
Yes, because I will be playing it on air.
Yes.
Yep. Hey, Brandon!
It doesn't count if you do it, by the way, Remington.
Yeah, I know.
Oh my God.
I don't care if you do or not.
It's all... Half of these are all political.
Don't give anything away. We're done here. We're done. I use the white background to help fill light on my face when I'm streaming.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm a professional, Brandon. And that's what a professional do. All right, we're ready? Don't lick my microphones.
I lick it.
Don't lick it, Brandon. Brandon, don't lick the microphone.
Sebulba lick the microphone.
Brandon, don't lick the microphone. Incredibly racist voice.
Is it?
I don't know.
Sebulba is going to win, I think. Spider. Sounds like the beginning of the spider.
Spider. Oh, spider. Creepy, crawly, creepy, crawly, creepy, creepy, crawly, crawly, creepy, creepy, crawly, crawly.
Oh.
Boris the Spider.
I was thinking Spider from They Might Be Giants. Spider. He is our hero.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that one.
Oh.
Yeah. That makes more sense because I didn't remember in Boris the Spider.
Oh. Oh. Is that weird to just stare at me while I do that? Ah.
I mean, really, honestly, not any weirder than anything else we've ever done.
I was trying to make my mouth a perfect O.
Okay.
Ah.
It's hard to do because you keep smiling.
I know, I can't help but smile a little bit.
Oh. Oh.
Oh.
I don't know if I should put a stop to it or do it again.
I think we should put a stop to it.
Okay. Oh. You knew this was going to happen.
Yeah, it was.
It was inevitable.
Inevitably.
Inevitable. You ready?
Yep. No, it's okay. You can text your friends.
It's Ginger.
You can text your girlfriend. It's fine. I don't care. I wasn't talking about anything important.
What was the last thing you said? Because I definitely did not actually hear the tail end of that.
I was saying that I miss the customization or sort of that you would have with the older editions versus now. How you'd be kind of left high and dry.
I don't know if that came through.
That's fine.
Okay.
Running off backup energy. I'm trying to keep myself from spinning too much as I talk.
Spitting?
Keep spinning.
Oh, spinning.
I'm keeping myself framed towards the mic. But yeah, my head is super full of allergens right now.
Yeah.
I could seriously just do a D&D podcast. I could talk D&D all day. I really enjoy it.
I mean, if you ever want to open up another one, we can just do a 15-minute or a 30-minute D&D talk.
Just talking about different classes or whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
I think it'd be so much... I think we could do well doing a live, or not a live, but a let's play of our D&D sessions.
Yeah.
Put them out at like 2 hours. We would need to get people who are really down with it too, And I just don't know anybody. I want to get people almost from the Actors Guild or comedians.
Like in playing?
Yeah.
Us? With us?
Yeah, people who could keep up the entertainment too.
Yeah, that would be cool. If we could actually truly get... I mean, I'd still like to get to the point where we record these, but...
Yeah. But you've got so much work you're doing already. There's no reason to add more to it.
Yeah, but I mean, at that point, it really wouldn't be much of anything except for... I'd like to make this maybe a mobile station. And I could just drag the thing in there and record it onto a just a little recorder.
Yeah.
And then just put it out.
Just put it on like a Kmart cart.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. Or like a lunch cart.
Yeah.